Well, hello everyone, and welcome to Hogarth's Global Astrology. Know your planets, know yourself, or know your nation, know yourself. The two are interchangeable. Let me just click off one of my little images here. Right. Oh my gosh, there is so much to discuss. Apologies for being a little bit late. I was talking with a dear friend of mine who it was a message from the gods. It was very interesting, and it's because I'm thinking about going back into writing, novel writing in particular. And he basically held up my books that I had published at one point. Anyway, long story. There'll be details on that in the future. Let me just put my phone on airplane mode just so that we don't get interrupted with noise and beeps and squeaks and all of that kind of stuff. And my goodness, there is so much to discuss. As we know, we've got the whole kind of debacle of gigantic proportions unfolding. Let me get my lighting right here. Hopefully my lighting's okay, folks, everyone. I don't have my usual ring light. I think it's finally died a death. It looks a little bit dim, doesn't it? Let me just see if I've changed the light around. Oh, it's a bit blue, isn't it? That's a bit nicer. Oh, no, I don't know, actually. No. All right, let's go there. These things. So much is happening. Look, here's your questions. They are in. I'm going to try and get through 6 of them if I can. I might have to go on maybe for a little bit longer, but as you know, I like to try and keep it to an hour. Thank you so much. Many of you are piling into the chat. Oh goodness, over 200 of you already. People are here. Let me just do a quick click up. Kaylee is here. Jerry is here. I'll be reading one of your questions out. Nunya is here. Upstate New York. Oh, yes. Love upstate New York. Beautiful. And then Ashley is here. On the sound is good. Saturn, no, you said sounds promising for me. Yeah. Long story, but we'll see how it goes. It's just something returning. Yeah. Saturn is coming into my 9th house because of Cancer ascendant, and you know it's going to be there in the 9th house. Let's just dive in straight away, and then I'll look through as well through more of your questions and responses and stuff like that, because I want to try and get in as many as possible. So this one is coming from Link Minx. She says 2 children are among the dead. Oh, sadly, after Egypt tourist submarine sinks in the Red Sea. Oh, I've not seen this story because it's been a client day for me, so I don't get to see as much news. Neptune striking again. She says, do the cards show tragic accident or negligence by sun owners? So is that what sun? What is that? The tour operator or the sun? When you say negligence by sun owners, I'm not quite sure. I'm guessing that is the company or the tour company that owns the boat. Let's have a look. Because guys, when you're remember, it's particularly on Thursdays. It's one of my busiest client days, so I don't really get a chance to look at much news. So I'm just going to assume that when Nick Mink says sun, I'm guessing it must be the name of the company or something like that. So is there an accident or is it negligence? And just so you know, guys, yes, Neptune is in sidereal Pisces. Oh, look what's at the bottom of the deck with that shuffling, yeah? A sudden shocking event. Oh, it's awful. Neptune is in sidereal Pisces, and if I recall correctly, it was in Pisces when the Titanic sank. And you'll be noticing there's lots of things to do with ships. Have you just been noticing ships, shipping, ships crashing? We have remember we had the Baltimore Bridge incident. We've had the crashing in the North Sea of the ships. Other kind of things blowing up at sea. We've also had things to do with the Suez Canal. Everything has been shipping, hasn't it? Water. So let's see. Is it accident or negligence by sun owners? Let's see. God, the world. So on Saturday, folks, as you know, This is when the Great Awakening / Rude Awakening, I think it's more Rude Awakening than Great, isn't it? Happens. Yeah, today is the 27th of March and it is 11:09 p.m. UK time at the time that I'm looking at this, doing my show. It will also be the last Hogelish on Saturday. We're going to be moving to Wednesdays. Many of you will know that already, but I'm just repeating it here just in case. So it's going to be a rest for Lena as well, because remember, for her, the show is Sunday morning for her when that goes up. And for me, of course, it goes up at midnight. So Lena and I are both going to be able to get a bit of a rest. Oh, this is interesting. Did a card show tragic accident or negligence by Sun owners? This is really interesting. Okay, look, I've just got to say what I see. So look, we've got the Two of Cups. As you can see, this talks about this can talk about marriage, quite literally marriage, but it really is the card of partnership. And it can also talk about businesses, yeah, business, partnership, trade agreements, yeah. So wherever it is, this for me is talking more about the business side of things already, yeah. There's an element here, and particularly is when we see next here, what could be the obstacle position, but the first card is positive. But this talks about, look, it's the King of Wands, and as you know, the Wand suite I associate with entrepreneurship, and this is business. So this is some kind of male leader, possibly in this company, yeah, male leader in or whoever owns the boat. Again, I'm assuming the word Sun is to do with the owners. If we look here, we have got the Knight of Cups, which is going out, trying to charm, yeah? The Knight of Cups is the envoy, but also as well, there can be an element of treachery and betrayal with this card as well, because it can be the seducer that, you know, leaves you compromised, yeah? And then moves on, yeah? So there's an element here. And if we look here, we've got the 10 of Wands, which can talk about hard work, hard graft. Here as well, the burden is not being carried on the shoulder. If he bundled up these and put them on his shoulder, he could carry the sticks a lot better. So this can talk about an element of not only overwhelm, but inefficiency, overwork. So could it be that there was an element of inefficiency or overwork where maybe the boat wasn't maintained properly or something like that? It's a total cold read for me. And then look, literally here we get the Six of Swords, which literally has someone in a boat. Now, what's interesting is you see with this boat here, it's got the swords in it. And essentially what it means is if any of the swords fall out, the boat would sink. Because obviously, look, you can see the swords are in the ship and they're standing up, which means they're in the hull. So it's the way I interpret this is that there's something to do with the business partnership, yeah, and maybe a male owner in particular who went out and sold and advertised, yeah, the seduction, advertising, getting people onto the ship, selling the nice experience. But there could have been an element where maybe there wasn't proper ship maintenance or protocols. Some element of work was overwhelming. So this says to me, maybe someone was tired, or maybe even the person driving the ship, whatever it is, there's an element here of fatigue, overwhelm, or maybe not wanting to do the maintenance. Again, completely cold read, yeah, I can only go on based on what I see. And then here you literally have the boat, or trying to move to smooth the waters. But of course, if any one of these swords just fall out, the boat would sink. And tragically, obviously it has sunk. So to me, because of the combination, particularly this overwork card, I'm more inclined to think it might be negligence or some kind of technical failure or some kind of human error. Either way, I think something maybe wasn't maintained as well as potentially as it could be. But I know literally nothing about the story, so just a cold read there. I could be wrong, but that is what my instinct is. I think it was an accident, but there was something that went wrong, either mechanically or because someone wasn't able to maintain, or they felt overwhelmed in some kind of sense, and they wanted to keep selling. Yeah, they wanted to keep offering that experience, and it's here to do with business. Yeah, with business. So I'll leave it there on that one. So sorry to hear about those people that have lost their lives, and a couple of kids as well. Oh, awful, awful. No one wants to go that way. Let's take a look here and see who else is in the old chit chat. So Nancy saying greetings from Tennessee. Nice to see you. How's it going with the bourbon out there? Yeah, because you know the Canadians are like, no, we're not buying it. So I hope everything's all right. Tell us if you've got any news from your neck of the woods. Dawn Turner says, hello, Hogarth, everyone in the group from a cold southern Alberta. Nice to see you from Alberta. And then we've got Oxford Cat. Beautiful Siamese. I think that is. If I ever had a cat, it will probably be a Siamese or a Burmese. I do like them. Vanessa's here. Shannon's here. So many of you here. So nice to see. Oregon is here in the house. St. Paul, MN, I think is Minnesota. Am I getting that right? Forgive me if I've not got my state abbreviations correct. I'm normally pretty good. I think MN is Minnesota, isn't it? And then, oh, someone's saying, yeah, Maureen is saying, I just want to go to sleep and not wake up. Oh, bless you. I mean, there is a lot of BS going on, isn't there, right now? And many of you piling into the chat. So let's move on to the next question. Keep going at pace. We've got some juicy ones coming up. All right, so this is coming from Cheryl. Yeah, Cheryl Renee. They say, is there an astrological alignment that would signify ascension to the fifth dimension? Yeah. And look, it's a good question. And to elaborate and expand on that, as you guys will know, obviously many of you will also watch spiritual channels, psychic channels. And I've actually got a question here. Are people asking about tarot readers and psychics? You know, it might be slightly controversial, but I think we need to have these conversations. Anyway, people talking about everyone going to like fifth dimension and stuff like that. Now, what I would say is, as an astrologer, I just want to share some insights with you about Earth School. Yeah, what I've learned. Yeah, what I've learned with Earth School. In terms of dimensions and stuff, I think it's more important to actually talk about things in terms of shifts in consciousness rather than a whole bunch of people of us disappearing, going into the fifth dimension, being in a semi-utopian state while the rest of the world falls into war and ruin. Yeah. And that is actually floated out there as an idea. And I don't want to poo-poo it completely, but I want to give you some insights because, as you know, I commune with the planets, meditate with them and stuff like that. Earth School is a very, very special place. There is nowhere else in the universe, quite literally, quite like it. Part of what creates our reality and our experiences here on Earth School is not only the Earth itself, but the solar system. Because the planets are people, they are karmas, they are real factors in life. So someone was asking me, like, will there ever be a time where there's no war, etc., and stuff like that? And I would say, no, there will always be some kind of war or conflict. As we raise in consciousness, however, it will evolve. Why will there always be some kind of element of war? Because we have planet Mars. Yeah. If we want war to end, then we would have to ask Mars to leave the solar system. Yeah. Will never happen. Yeah. Because Mars is also passion, energy, sport. Yeah. Saturn, for example, yes, Saturn can be a tough taskmaster, but he's the planet of reality, infrastructure, government, things being built, discipline. Yeah. Where would the world be without any discipline? We are seeing answers to that in this current regime right now, because Saturn is about to move into sidereal Pisces on the 29th of March, yeah, which can mean what? A breakdown in government discipline, a breakdown in the systems of government themselves. We're not seeing anything as yet that doesn't look like that. So what does it mean in terms of like the fifth dimension and stuff? What I've been shown is much more to do with consciousness. So if we think what is happening, the whole earth is going through an ascension process. That is true. This is why I'm calling this alignment on the 29th the Great Awakening, because it really is. But it's also a rude awakening as well, because Saturn is coming into the sign of Pisces. Pisces can also deal with fantasies, delusions, and illusions. So what it means is, as I've warned before, a great fantasy or delusion is coming to an end. People are waking up to the reality of what, particularly in America, of what this regime means. Yeah. I've been taught, where you've probably seen on the internet, there's been lots of things to do with MAGA tears, yeah, where people going like, oh my God, I can't believe that. I made a terrible mistake, and they're weeping and they're crying and all of this kind of stuff. But the reality is the pushback has been, well, we told you, yeah. So what is that there are several things going on at once. It is a massive reality check, yeah. And what is the consciousness of voting to harm others in order to improve your own life, or even like, you know what, this isn't going to improve my own life, but as long as their life is worse, yeah, that kind of consciousness has to leave the planet, because Gaia's vibration is coming up. Do you see? But also as well, there are great lessons and teachings in that, because Saturn is bringing the reality, the karmas of making decisions like that. Do you see what I mean? So I don't think it's going to be the case of people suddenly disappearing and going into the fifth dimension and stuff like that, because that's not what I've been shown, and that's not how Earth School works. Remember, Saturn is the planet of reality, and everything plays out on this level. However, the consciousness, what it means is that, as we've seen, people that are part of the whole MAGA cult, which is basically, that's exactly what it is, they literally live in such a different reality, they may as well be on another planet. Do you see? It's kind of like that. Their ideas are so off base, like what we're seeing in the administration now, so wackadoodle, they may as well be inhabiting another planet, because it's a completely different reality. But those of you who are watching shows like this, watching me, watching other people who are trying to give, genuine guidance, spiritual advice, people that have compassion, empathy, that are working on themselves, working on society, etc. Of course, we're ascending upwards. Does it mean we're going to go into a completely physical different space? Personally, I don't think so, because that's not what I've been shown. Because Earth School is about working things out in three-dimensional reality, but applying higher consciousness to that to raise the vibration of everyone. Do you see? And Earth School is about lessons. It's about karma. It's about growth. And unfortunately, because there was still so much of the population, even though we know there was finagling going on and Trump bought the election and all that stuff, the point is, you would have heard me say before, I didn't say it enough, but I said Trump didn't have to win. It just had to be close enough. And the fact it was close in of itself was an indictment, because it never should have been. Let's also not forget as well, 90 million people did not vote. Wow. Yeah. So to basically go into it, you know, is there an astrological alignment that will signify ascension to the fifth dimension? It's not about physically going there. It's about people waking up and realizing that they can't vote for things on Earth school like that and expect to do well. And that is part of what the ascension process is. Do you see? So although it's difficult for people who didn't vote for it, who are already psychologically, emotionally, spiritually aware enough to understand, unfortunately, a lot of people were not. So they have to go through this education process where they deal with the karmas of voting for that. Do you see? And that helps the ascension. But those of us that are here already, we just go up another notch. Yeah. Because we saw it coming, and we'll create the new world that has to come out of this destruction. Do you see what I mean? So I hope that answers the question. All right, let me just dive into another one. Let's see who else is in the house. So we've got Brenda saying blessings here from Louisiana. Nice to see some Southern state representation. Much appreciated. Welcome, everyone. New York here, Barbara. Oh, look here. Oh, bless. Shivani's saying, yes, 9 people passed and 37 were injured. Oh, dear. Sorry to hear about that. And again, with Neptune, that is an issue. We're going to see lots of things with boats in the news. Here we are. Virginia is here. Brenda. New Jersey is here. Southwest Missouri is here. Oh, we have Hawaii. Oh, this is fabulous. Thank you, guys. You're literally joining me from all over. We've got Minnesota, Santa Fe, California, Florida, New Orleans. Oh, fabulous, fabulous. And, you know, look, don't get me wrong, guys. You know, I love the States and I love Americans, you know, in general. Obviously, the whole MAGA douchebaggery, we can put all that to one side. There's 50 states in America and I have been to 25. Can you believe it? Half. Still, I still can't quite believe it. I did such epic travel, but my God, it really does. It is soul wrenching for me. And you know what? It really has been keeping me up at night. A lot of this kind of bonkers that we see unfolding, you know, because you don't want to see it. It's like seeing one of your relatives, you know, naked in the street raiding the bins. It's just like, oh my, do you know what I mean? It's just like, wow. All right. Next question. Magical Lanny says, Judge Boasberg is assigned to the SignalGate case. Magat has called for his impeachment in the deportation case. Yeah. Will he try to get him removed from this case as well? Will Judge Bosenberg ensure justice for the traitors? So, you know what's so extraordinary about the whole SignalGate is what they've been caught, well, not caught, what they've said on camera previous. And remember this, Pete Hegseth was like, anyone who is compromising and giving state secrets and stuff needs to be struck off and imprisoned and all that lot. And it's like, thought of applying that to yourself, perhaps. These people, the level of gargantuan douchebaggery is hard to even put into words. The Olympic incompetence is what I think I saw on one strapline for mainstream news. It's just extraordinary. But what's even worse is the lying, the brazen, childish lying. Oh, if I cover my eyes because I can't see you, you can't see me. If I just sit here and I pretend and I call it a witch hunt and stuff, it's going to make this all go away. No, it's not. Madness. All right, Judge Boasberg, forgive me. Will he try and get him removed from the case? Of course he's going to try. But let's just see. What's the energy for Boasberg? The only thing holding the fig leaf on anything right now is the courts. It's the only thing. And the judges know it. Yeah, the judges know it. I mean, look, with SCOTUS, like I said, I think a lot of them should just go drown themselves. But there's been a little bit of resistance. But we know who the douchebag of the douchebags are there. And they said to Trump, you are a king. You know, is it any wonder then that he's going to take liberties? Did they not think the next logical step would be their ultimate abolition? You know, these people, they don't read. They don't read history. Oh. Anyway. Right. Judge Boasberg. What's the energy here? Trouble is, the regime is just so corrupt. Dear. Dicey, folks. Dicey. Yeah. Some sketchy cards. All right, here we go. Question was, I'll just read it again. From Magical Lani. Judge Boasberg is assigned to the SignalGate case. Magat has called for his impeachment in the deportation case. Will he try to get him removed from this case as well? Will Judge Boasberg ensure justice for the traitors? So if we look here, he is, so look, in a way, this could be Judge Boasberg. But it's not just that, it's the situation. You'll notice here the Three of Wands. Now, Wands, of course, deal with entrepreneurship, but not just that, they deal with passion, they deal with action. Here, the cloaked merchant is making a decision, knowing what to do next, waiting for what? His ship to come in. Do you see here? Which you can see here. So this is a card of anticipation. This is a card of having made plans and waiting to see if one's plans will come to fruition. So you see how this represents Duck L'Orange and it represents the judge. Yeah. From the judge's perspective, he's waiting for the ships to come in the sense of gathering everything, letting all of the pieces fall into place before he makes his judgment. Yeah. This is to prosecute or not to prosecute. Will I essentially say that the government is in contempt of court or not? Yeah. So he might be waiting for some information. But this is also Duck L'Orange. This is Trump, who is surveying the media, surveying the political fallout, and this going like, oh God, am I going to have to sack someone to appease this? Do I throw someone under the bus? Now, they've been saying Duck L'Orange doesn't want to do this because he never wants to concede to the media. But this is so egregious, yeah? So both men are waiting for their ships to come in. All right. Next card. Now, this card is reinforcing. But really, if the first card is positive, so Three of Wands is quite positive. But you will know in my political readings, the Queen of Pentacles I refer to as the voters. Yeah, the voters. So really, from the perspective of Duck L'Orange, he's waiting to see how the base responds. How is the base responding? Not that he gives a you-know-what, but it's a factor. Remember as well, you've got your Steve Bannons and all of this stuff and all the other kind of loudmouths in there and stuff like that. This is also dealing with security, a sense of security. In regards to the judge, he might be just checking like, am I secure? And I think he is. Of course he's secure because it's so blatant. Yeah, so brazen. But look at the middle card. Yeah, this is what I'm worried about. Ten of Swords, of course, this can deal with endings, but also as well, it deals with betrayal. Yeah, being backstabbed, stabbed in the back. Duck L'Orange is thinking, speculating of ways he can get rid of the judge to stab him in the back. Particularly when we see the next card here. Look, the devil. This, of course, talks about what? Corruption, addiction, yeah, mental health issues, psychopathy, yeah, sociopathy. This is literally, this is the US regime right now, yeah, full of people like this. Hegseth, of course, is a famous alcoholic, you know. Alcoholism is a condition, and I don't want people to be thinking that I'm teasing people being alcoholic, because it is an illness. But, you know, you don't normally take an alcoholic newscaster and put them in charge of the military. Do you know what I mean? You don't normally do that. So this is talking as well. He's not the only one that is suffering from addictions. I think they're all on drugs, to be honest. I think they're all on drugs. So they're out to get him, yeah? It's not about virtue, yeah? They want to stab him in the back. And then here, though, you have the Seven of Pentacles, which I refer to as ROI, return on your investment. This is about reaping what you have sown, yeah? So in many ways, again, feeding into with the prior kind of question, this is about reaping what has been sown. This is part of the fruit, the toxic fruit of this administration. So what I'm going to say is the judge is going to try, yeah? He's going to try to bring accountability, yeah? Because this could also be bringing the people who are at fault, yeah, ending their careers. But look, the devil's here. So I think what is, he's going to do his best, but I think Trump is going to try and find a way to either get rid or try and impeach or do something to undermine the judge. And I just hope that the reward can be justice, but it's tricky because they're that corrupt. So I'm a bit worried for the judge. I hope I'm wrong on that one. I hope he does bring them to account. But Duck L'Orange, oh man, yeah, you saw the devil. Yeah, you saw the devil. Someone's saying here, Rita's saying, I feel like we're living in a dream and I need to wake up. I know, it's just ludicrous, isn't it? It's so oh my, let me plug in my there we are, plug in my laptop. We got Colorado here. Oh, South Dakota here. This is fabulous. Oh my gosh, almost every state in America is here. Lilith is saying, I have a Siamese, but I think she's on her 9th life. Oh, bless. Someone's saying here, do you see Waltz Hedgehog Ucker Whiskey-gate resigning or getting fired? You know, Duck L'Orange is reluctant to fire them because he wants his nutbags around him. Yeah. If they had any integrity, I mean, they would have all drowned themselves, you know, days ago. But we'll have to see. It's if Trump fires them, it's only to save himself. Yeah, he's probably hoping that it's going to blow over. All right. Now, this is an interesting one. Some may find it a bit controversial, but, you know, it's worth a discussion. So this one is, how do I say that? So Trition. And then last bit I can't say because anyway, so Trition is the first part. Because I don't know how to articulate, you know, some of the abbreviations that you can see here. Yeah. You can see I'm not sure how to say that. Anyway, she said, Hogarth, she said the astrologers and the numerologists got it right for the election, though both candidates had strong energy to win. The readers and psychics did not, she says. Was the right question asked during the readings and the tarot? And was the election going to be fairly won? And then they say, I felt the reader's emotional preference for Kamala to win may have clouded their readings and given us false hope. What say you? So what I would say, first of all, is that, of course, every reader ideally is reading to the best of their ability. Yeah, it's reading to the best of their ability. But of course, everyone is a human being. And it's very hard for people to keep their emotions out of it. Yeah. Now, one of the things, as you know, I'm an astrologer. And the whole point with astrology really is you approach it like a science, because really that's what it is. It's an ancient science. And of course, I do Neo-Vedic astrology because it's even more accurate. Yeah. Because it follows the movement of the stars. Western tropical doesn't follow it. However, a good astrologer is a good astrologer. And what I feel personally, I feel that has helped me a lot with my tarot readings, because in astrology, you have to be neutral. You can't be emotional. And also, as well, it's difficult to be emotional in astrology because you're looking at symbols. Yeah, you have to interpret the symbols and the sign and the conjunctions, everything accurately. So I find that helps me a lot with my tarot. So first of all, so I would say, look, it was obviously a lot of people were highly emotionally invested in Camilla winning, because the consequences of her not winning are this, yeah, what we see playing out. There's also the fact as well that a lot of that the election was also bought. Yeah, this has not even been denied. You know, Trump has even said it. But remember, it had to be close for them to even be able to, for things like voter suppression, redistricting, all of that stuff to work. At the end of the day, 90 million people didn't show up. It was always tricky. And as you guys said, for a longest time, like, because when I was looking at the astrology and I said, look, the result may not be what we expect, because what? Uranus was on the star Algol, the star of betrayal, right on the election, the 5th and 6th of November. Literally, Uranus, the planet of sudden shocks and surprises, was on that star. And I was like, ugh. This is very, very tricky, because when it crossed over the first time, Biden had to step down and Trump almost got assassinated, went retrograde over it on the election. And remember, there's going to be a third strike around the middle of April. I think it's around 15th of April, but we're already seeing this energy pile up. But imagine things are going to really reach a crescendo, or betrayal. We could even see assassinations, or people being sacked, heads rolling. It's literally the star of beheading, Medusa, yeah, betrayal, all of those things. And we've been seeing betrayal throughout all of politics. So that election was always going to be very, very difficult. And all I can say is that, you know, readers, you know, do the best that they can do. But for some readers, it's easier or not, you know, for some reasons, it's very difficult to keep their desires out of it. Yeah. Because, you know, we're human beings. Yeah. But that can lead to skewed kind of results in a way. I mean, look, Trump has admitted that it was bought for him. So one can't say that everyone was entirely wrong, but for me, it was the astrology, and like you were saying, the numerology was really showing it, because planets are people, planets are karmas, planets produce real results here on Earth. This is why you've heard me talk ad nauseum about this alignment and the eclipses. But now you see why I said this is going to affect the seat of power in America. This is going to affect the homeland, security, real estate, deportations, all of this, all of which we've seen. When I did the reading for the inauguration chart, as you know, I said, we're going to see this government do things, or regime, that has never happened before, because it's Aries rising with Uranus in the first house. So for me, my default is always the astrology, always, because it's energy, it's mathematics, it's science. But I also back it up, you know, with the tarot. But of course, if you don't have that background, then you just have your intuition and you just have your emotions. One thing what I would say as well is, in defense of, you know, tarot readers and stuff, there was a lot of pressure. I spoke about this on my channel. There was a lot of pressure put on people to say the result, the outcome that everybody wanted. Now, I would have been even more candid. I wanted to be more candid with people, because I really did have a lot of doubts, because obviously I've been looking at the astrology and just being realistic. You know, she's a woman. America has got a misogyny issue. She's black. America's got a race issue. And also as well, her husband's Jewish. Yeah. So, you know, that's also was a big issue as well, particularly as well, things that happened in Gaza or have been happening in Gaza as well, and what was going on at all that time. All of that was part of the milieu of it all. And, you know, I can't, you know, everyone has to read in their own way. But when I was looking at the astrology and everything combined also as well, even though we don't want to say it, and when I was cautioning and going back to pressure, I went a little bit off the topic. I'm talking about this a bit longer than I expected. But I remember I would say, I'm not sure. You know, I'd say if Kamala wins, many, many, many people criticized me. Yeah. Even for saying if, when I actually wanted to say even stronger. Yeah. People started to unsubscribe when I told them the truth as I saw it. And I just was just like, this is not sustainable. Yeah. So I had to eat quite a lot on my words. Of course, I was never, I always, you know, I always tell the truth, you know, people, you know, that you've been watching me for a long time now. This is why you guys join in. Yeah. Because, you know, I give it how it is. But my God, there was a lot of pressure. Thankfully, I didn't yield to it, and it would have been the easiest thing to say in the world. Yeah, I would have had, you know, 20,000 extra subscribers and all this, that, and the other, whatnot. You know, it's popular to say what people want to hear, but that's not why I'm here on Earth. Yeah, and I don't mean that as a shade or critique to anyone else. It's just true. Yeah, look at what Trump says, what he says to his base to get them, you know, to get the vote. Oh, yes, I'm going to cut tax on your tips and blah, blah, blah. I'm going to drop the price of eggs and food on day one. Yeah, I'm going to end the war in 24 hours. It's full of bullshit. Yeah, but it sells because people want to hear it. The more difficult spiritual path is telling people what they need to hear. And that is often unpopular. Yeah. Takes a lot of courage to tell people stuff that they don't want to hear, you know. But what happens is, as they say, reality always catches up in the end. And this is what we're seeing. Yeah. Saturn. Yeah. If we look here, let me just segue. Let me do a quick presentation. I wasn't planning to, and then I'm going to get more into your questions. Let's do share entire screen. This share, and then here. Just want to show you this. You guys have seen this before, but it bears worth saying. Also, as well, I've had a lot of new subscribers recently, and thank you so much, everyone, as well, for supporting my channel. If you subscribe, like this video, it is free. Please share it as well. Like and subscribe, share, all that jazz. You know the routine. And if you see an ad come up, if you're watching this tomorrow, just count to 11 seconds and then skip. Yeah. But this is what I've been talking about. And I'm going to do another presentation again on Hogelish this Saturday. Yeah. Because we're going to do a 90-minute special, guys. Yeah. It's going to be the last show on Saturday. It's the day when Saturn moves into sidereal Pisces. And it's also going to be the day when my channel is exactly 5 years old. Can you believe it? Huh? What symmetry? So here, look, you see this big old pile up here. Yeah, Saturn moves in 29th of March, around about 6 p.m. UK time. You can deduct the hours off for the USA. It's here with Rahu. So the last time Saturn and Rahu were together in sidereal Pisces was in 1968. Yeah, think of what was going on then. We had Bobby Kennedy assassination, Dr. Martin Luther King, and Vietnam War and all of that cray. So we can see this is very intense. Venus is here, retrograde. Venus deals with what? Money, wealth, luxuries. She's also one of the indicators for the economy. Mercury is here, which literally deals with what? Communications of all kinds, media. We know things tend to go wrong with communications when Mercury is retrograde. Look what's happened. SignalGate. Yeah, they effed up. He put a journalist in there. Mercury is journalism. Retrograde, which means review, revise, reassess. Whenever a planet's retrograde, that's what it means. Review, revise, reassess. Oops. Yeah. Neptune is here, which is also a planet of deception and illusions and delusions, but also spirituality, arts, film, photography. But it can also deal with scandals, yeah? Sun is here, which deals with leadership. So you would remember I was talking about the lunar eclipse, and then I said in the solar eclipse, I said, this is going to be to do with leadership. We're going to have things come out about them that we previously didn't know, and it could be very shocking, yeah? There's even more to come, by the way. Yeah, this thing is not even exact yet. So even more revelations. Here's the moon, which deals with the public. And of course, this is creating the solar eclipse. And here we have Chiron. So that is a factor of 8. 8 planets, if you include Chiron. And this is why I'm saying this is bigger than COVID. Yeah. Bigger than COVID. I'm not joking, and I can't sugarcoat this. Yeah. Saturn is the planet of reality, which means reality coming to what? Spirituality. Pisces is the sign of spirituality, of, of religion, of, all of these things. It's the Christ portion of sky. This is also the age that is coming to an end. That's why I thought, well, the Pope might not make it. Seems like Saturn has spared his life. Yeah, it looks like he's pulled through. So good for him. But it was touch and go. Yeah, without all those antibiotics and stuff like that, yeah, it would have been gone. So this reality check, the balloon popper is coming into this realm of spirituality. So what I would say is this. What I really believe is that people want predictions that are accurate and come true. I don't think speculative predictions are really going to cut anymore. That's just my personal thing as an astrologer. Yeah, just because the price is too high. Look what these people are doing. Yeah, look what these people are doing. You've heard me talk about Medicaid. Yeah, which 10, yeah, remember 10 Democrat senators voted with, yeah, Al Gore, star of Betrayal. So it is tricky. Yeah, it is tricky energy. I wish I could be a little bit more whoopee-doo-dah, but look, Saturn is moving there. But this is also as well a renaissance. It's a chance for a rebirth. It's a chance to completely reconfigure things, do something new, take things up to the next level. Do you see? Because Pisces can also deal with spiritual enlightenment as well. Many, many more people are becoming more spiritual. Yeah, so remember that too. There's also a positive there. This is also going to be practical ways to apply one's spirituality in life. Yeah, I'm going to move on to the next question. Let me just see here. Oh, thank you, Joanne Marie. Keep hoping your readings will improve. Such corruption at the top of government, just depressed here in NC. I know it's not easy, yeah? And this is also as well why everyone's feeling such heavy energy. Saturn is very heavy. Yeah, planet of reality. Yeah. So so Magical Lani says, Paula White, the pastor from the new Office of Faith. Oh my God. In the White House, I saw the video. Oh my God. I think I was watching some other channel and they showed the video. I couldn't believe. Anyway, is selling 7 supernatural gifts for each Easter. I almost said 7 supernatural grifts for Easter. I think that's really what it is. For $1,000, God will assign you an angel and be an enemy to your enemies. What do you see for her? Oh my God. Paula White. Like, you can't make this stuff up. Do you see? You can't make this stuff up. And thank you for those that have been joining me. It's over 900 of you now. Thank you so much. Much appreciated. Paula White, hawking her wares. Oh, you can't make this stuff up. Let's see what the energy is around her. It's the energy around Paula White. But you see, that's also Pisces as well. Yeah, Pisces is what? Spirituality. It's the sign of Christ, Christianity. But it's not just that, the Abrahamic religions in general. And this is why, as we move into the age of Aquarius, we're not quite yet. Let's say it's the dawning. Yeah. That's when people will be moving away from more organized religion to a more authentic sort of, not that religion doesn't have its little, you know, its perks and stuff. But look, yeah, this fundamentalism and all of this kind of stuff has to stop. Yeah. People will put their faith in more spirituality in general, like many of you watching. You know, and if you go to church and you're Muslim and you're Jewish or etc., I'm not slating your religion or slagging you off, and I appreciate that's valid as well. But just as a collective, we're moving away from that energy because the age of Aquarius is dawning, but we're not quite there yet. Yeah, because Western tropical is 24 degrees ahead, which is a lot. Yeah, let's see here. Paula White. Wow. I mean, she's got some cards. I can see what her job is. Oh my God. Oh my God. All right. She's got some cards. There we go. First card out of the deck is the Fool. Yeah, the Fool. So it can mean that she's a literal fool. Yeah. Or more likely that she's a charlatan. Yeah. However, this is also about leaps of faith and taking a leap of faith and knowing that the universe will catch you. So there is an element here where she feels optimistic. Yeah, she feels optimistic. And maybe it's a leap of faith to kind of have her in the White House or what have you. But her energy, she's probably feeling quite ebullient. Yeah. And she's probably selling a lot of these kind of indulgences, really. I mean, that's kind of what brought down that's what created the Protestant Reformation, was that the popes and the cardinals were selling indulgences, which would mean an indulgence was to be forgiven for your sins in advance. You could literally buy forgiveness for your sins. So she's there hawking her wares. Anyway, if you look here, look, she's incredibly determined. This is really the true motivation behind. We can see here the Magician, which can talk about, in its shadow, it can talk about manipulation, basically. Yeah, I often get this card for Elon Musk. Yeah, Musky Dusk. So here, it's a grift. Yeah, it's a grift. Yeah, she's taking the foolish. Yeah, only the foolish and the gullible will go for this, because really it's a grift. This is the card of manipulation, but also getting what you want. It's a very determined card. So this is a woman that also knows how to get what she wants by taking advantage of what? Fools. If we look here, we have the Star card showing up. So look at that. This I've pulled four major arcana in a 5-deck pull. Here we are. So this is also talking about her, not only about Duck L'Orange, because as you know, my shadow interpretation of the Star is the narcissist. She is a raving narcissist, yeah? But she's happy to have the spotlight on her, yeah? Because this is quite a platform. She's like, oh, goody, 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 goody. You know, I'm in the White House now. I can sell more. Yeah, I can sell more of my stuff. How many times does this card come up? Yeah, 10 of Cups. 10 of Cups, which is whenever we're reading on the GOP or anything like that, and this is talking about, in this context, the fake family, but she's projecting this image. You know, I've got 7 angels for you. And, you know, they're going to hate who you hate and all of this stuff. And, you know, they're going to be the enemies of your enemy. Yeah. Come on. Really? Yeah. Anyway, but that's what she's selling. Yeah. These fake ideals, flogging her wares. And then here we get the Temperance card out. And this is the card of rebalancing, recalibrating. Yeah. She's there to put in that extra layer of Christian fundamentalism on this layer cake of cray-cray. Yeah. But ultimately, it's a manipulation. It's a grift of the fools. Yeah. Only the foolish will buy it. And it's much more about her self-aggrandizement. But she's doing that promoting family values. But really, she's here to change the chemistry, the balance of the White House. So she's been employed you know, just get more of those evangelicals on, unfortunately. Typical, isn't it? Thank you so much, Roxy Cooks. Oh, what is it that you like to cook there? Can you see, folks? There's like some kind of blender of something. Maybe it's a dough maker. Roxy, if you could let me know what it is. Do you make delicious donuts or wonderful bread things, cakes? I wonder what you bake. Ernie's mom, thank you so much for your donation. I wonder if Paula White would send me an angel that will get rid of all the crazies in the White House. Yeah, I think we need a few angels like that, isn't it? Oh my God. You can't make this stuff up, isn't it, folks? Isn't it? Isn't this extraordinary to be living through these times? Let me tell you, this combination, that alignment that I showed you, it will never happen again in our lifetimes. This is unique. It will never, ever happen again in our lifetimes, because the planets that are there, the faster one, yes, Sun goes there every year, Venus goes there every year, Mercury's there every year, Moon is there once a month, yeah? They're the faster moving ones. Rahu and Ketu take 18 and a half years to return to a sign. Yeah, and the last, you know, so there's that. The last time Rahu was with Saturn was, like I said, 1968. Saturn takes 29.5 years to return to a sign. So the last time he was in sidereal Pisces was 30 years ago. Yeah. Then you've got Chiron, takes 50 years to go around the sun. So the last time Chiron was in sidereal Pisces was 50 years ago. And then the humdinger, of course, is Neptune. The last time Neptune was in sidereal Pisces was about 165 years ago. So then when you pile in all the other planets as well, do you see? Very rare. Right, let's squeeze in another question, see if I can squeeze in a couple more. All right, so Jerry Geld says, I am so tired of the Trump regime. I don't understand why people / nations still try to appease him. Do the cards show if there is a specific event that will lead the US to the US removing him from office, or world leaders turning their backs on him? Great question. Yeah, great question. There was a really good question here. There was a, yes, Sergey Lavrov, Denise Ferguson. I'll try and squeeze that one in. Try and squeeze that one in. Let's see here. So let's look at that. I'm so tired of Trump regime. Like, why do people, nations still try to appease him? Because people respond to the office and the title, yeah, irrespective of the competence of the person. And this is very often why people try and strive to get titles, because the title of something carries a lot of weight. So even though we know Duck Larange is a lunatic, yeah, he is still the president of the United States, even though we see the complete incompetence and the delusionality and that he's a compromised and he's basically a Russian asset. Because he has that role, that title, people still want to deal with that. And also as well, people like power. They want to be close to power. These malignant narcissists, they just lap all this stuff up. And because he has the power of the executive, you know, the power of the pen and all of that stuff, he has to be dealt with, yeah, if people want to or not, unfortunately. And also as well, remember as well, a lot of people defer to power, to authority. So it's complex, yeah, and it's to do with the human psyche and how we're raised and our value systems, etc., and all of that stuff. All right. Do the cards show if a specific end will lead to the US removing him from office? I think they're too weak to impeach him, because articles of, look, first of all, look, it should have happened the first time. Yeah. So why would they act now? Yeah. When all the evidence was there, no one did their effing job. And we've got the undiluted douchebaggery in front of us now. What I think is more likely to happen, we'll see what the cards say. It's more, I think it's, I don't want to wish death on him, but it's going to be more something more like assassination or being found at the bottom of the stairs conveniently, because don't forget, like I've said before, J.D. Vance is the biggest threat to Trump. I've been saying that for ages, and actually quite a lot of that emerged in that group chat as well. He does not like him. Honestly, J.D. Vance, for entertainment purposes only, would have Trump gone like that if he could, because he's next in line. But let's see what the cards say. So it could be maybe assassination or something shocking, but will they impeach him? I mean, they should be calling for his impeachment, but they failed last time, several times, you know, and that's on those people that should have done their job. Anyway, Duck L'Orange, what's surrounding? What's the energy around? Remember, a lot of people were saying that he was going to be dead and all of this kind of stuff. He isn't. Not dead. He's got Mars in the first house, and unfortunately, it does give a lot of vigor. It just does. Oh, wow. You know, Trump's just in it for the money, you know. I mean, he's just in it for the money, and so are the other people. Look, however, there is intrigue here. Yeah, if we see, we got the High Priestess. Now, we know when we're reading political readings, this talks about intrigue, espionage, secret plans, yeah? But we know quite a few secret plans were revealed on that signal chat. But it means there's more secret plans, yeah? This is a rat's nest of you know, it's just it's a nest of vipers, yeah? Vipers, much intrigue, secret dealings and machinations. This is also talking about Trump's secret dealings and machinations. If we look at Five of Cups, which is about, you know, disappointment, betrayal, and just, yeah, I think this is how the whole country's feeling, to be honest. Yeah. This is how Canada's feeling. This is certainly how many Americans who didn't vote for this are feeling. Yeah. Forlorn, upset. I think there's even an element of Trump that actually feels like this. He'll never show it. Like I said, he will never show it. This can also show disappointment with Duck L'Orange as well, in the electorate, perhaps. If we look here, he's always looking internationally, yeah, always looking at these different things. Here we are. We have the merchant, the tradesman. Twos is about making decisions on business, looking at the world. What is he doing? Flinging more tariffs down. Yeah? Because his boss has told him to bankrupt the economy. Yeah, and soon he's going to succeed. Yeah. If we look here, Four of Pentacles, but it's not just dealing with holding on to money and cash. This is trying to hold on to your position. So this is like Duck L'Orange and those around him are trying to hold on for as long as possible. Yeah. They probably know that they can't stay there forever. And it's like they've just made a decision to do as much damage as they can. I wish I could be more positive about it, but it's just the way it is. And look, Ace of Pentacles. It's about the money. It's all it is. It's all it's about. It's about the money. They just want to thieve. They just want to fill their pockets because they're malignant psychopaths. Yeah. And those that are invested in the regime, they're also there for the money as well. This could also as well talk about what? The foreign intrigues and money and deals, secret deals over money. That could easily be the Saudis, you know, Saudis, Middle East, yeah, very often. Even Israel as well. Either way, there are foreign interests here. Foreign interests are a big part of what this regime is. Obviously, Russia's the obvious one, but there's more. So yeah, it's quite deep, guys. Someone says, C. Grendy says, will the world evolve as one someday, or will we always have dictators operating somewhere on the planet? We'll always have dictators for a little while yet, because collective human consciousness is not high enough yet. We're just coming out of Kali Yuga, and we're now going into Dwapara Yuga. In fact, we're already there, actually. But now Dwapara Yuga, the age of energy, is now upon us. Yeah, it started in 1900 when the atom was split. That's when the age of energy began. Yeah, in my opinion, that's when it began. Now the Dwapara Yuga, the age of energy, is even stronger. Yeah, it's even stronger. Like I said, to get rid of dictators, you'd have to get rid of planet Pluto and you'd have to get rid of planet Mars. Yeah, that's not going to happen. I know some people refer to Pluto as a dwarf planet, but he should never have been demoted. Yeah, he is a planet and he is very, very powerful. And he deals with things like dictatorship. Mars is war. Yeah, what will happen is that it will evolve. Yeah, we see really the nature of war has changed. It's much more to do with between the ears. Yes, there's still hard power and bombings like we have like in Ukraine, Russia, which is really sad and unfortunate. But we see the biggest war is what? The propaganda war, the war in the mind. Yeah. So now let's pull here, this one. So Denise Ferguson asked, Sergei Lavrov stated that Moscow will denazify Kiev and build a new world order with China, India, Iran, and North Korea. Yeah, remember I was also talking about BRICS for the longest time. And thank you so much. 990 of you. No, I think it was 994 of you are joining me live. Thank you. North Korea is increasing military supplies to Russia. Russia has begun drills involving intercontinental ballistic missiles, while China is making massive moves in the South and East China Seas. Iran has expanded its nuclear program. Is this the calm before the storm, especially if the US bombs Iran? Oh, wow. Let's see what's going on. New World Order. Well, this is why what is happening in the White House is so significant, because like I said, they're abandoning the seat of power. And by displaying this colossal incompetence, it gives America's enemies nothing to fear. Yeah. I mean, they don't even have to drop a bomb. It's like the bomb is the secret, you know, the weapon is Duck Larange. He's the Trojan horse. But let's see here. What's going on? New World Order. And this is also what this alignment means, because of course, it's not just happening for America, it's happening all over the world simultaneously. So the world is changing. Oh, God, you wouldn't believe what's come back. Wow. Ah! All right. I have to say what I see. Look who's back. Merchant. Yeah. Was just speaking about him, wasn't I? And the question was about New World Order. So look, we can see here. Oh, wow. Over 1,000 of you now. Thank you so much. Here we have the merchant back. Decisions, yeah? Decisions needing to be made. Twos are about decision. Ones can deal with what? Entrepreneurship, passion, energy. So this is like almost like, it's like here, it's like China, India, Iran, North Korea, what have you, whoever else is part of it. But it's like they're looking at the world, yeah? They're looking at their role in the world, their dominance in the world in regards to trade, goods, services, all of that kind of thing. Yeah, it makes sense, doesn't it? We also have BRICS. Let's not forget that. BRICS is Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, plus 8 more have joined. Many more are joining, and it's already like 1/3, what is it, 1/3 of the total world's population, something like that. So they are looking and they're pondering and they are planning. Look at this. Oh, gosh. 10 of Swords, which means a betrayal, a strike. They are looking at the world, but they're looking at America in particular. And they're looking at the betrayal that is going on there, because a certain Duck Larange is doing their work for them. Really, if you think about it, how much of a finger do they have to lift? Yeah, because there's someone, a traitor, yeah, someone doing this betrayal. And let's not forget, Uranus is on the star, Algol, the star of betrayal, doing their work for them. So they are pondering, they're waiting, they're wanting to see how weak America will potentially come. Here, look, we've got the judgment card. Yeah, judgment card, raising up. You know, this is the big alarm call. So there could be some big announcement from these countries at certain stage, some big proclamation. We look here, it's also got something to do with their domestic populations and elections as well. As you know, I associate this card with the electorate, but this is also about stability, economic stability. So I think this is about the changing. They want to change the world order, quite literally. But look at the outcome card. Oh, God, the devil. Back. So not necessarily for the best. I think it's much more about their domination and control. Yeah. So it's like they don't have the best intentions. I mean, of course, how can North Korea have the best intentions, or Russia? Yeah. Not the best intentions, but they're looking to solidify their place, yeah, on the world stage. There'll be some big kind of proclamation or announcement that could be significant, particularly, of course, as the eclipses are upon us. Solar eclipses deal with what? Leadership, yeah? And it happens on the 29th of March. It's now gone to the 28th of March because it's past midnight here for me in the UK. So only one day to go. Saturn's nearly there. This is about bringing something down. I think this is about ending the old world order, yeah, which of course is being facilitated by the White House. And they are looking at their prospects for new global order, world trade, etc. So I think the cards were pretty clear there, wasn't it? I think I will leave it there. I think that was quite a lot. We covered a lot of ground. Thank you to everyone who left their questions. And I know some of this stuff might feel a bit down and depressing, but look, don't be surprised if you're feeling these heavy moods. Yeah, this is Saturn. Saturn's changing signs. Saturn is the planet of reality. Yeah, the whole world is transforming in front of our eyes, but it's also an opportunity, yeah, to reconfigure as well. Reconfigure. Saturn is the planet of government, so it means everything is going to be reconfiguring in the world of government. We'll see. We've seen, of course, that, you know, Russia might have their own intentions, but we can also shape those intentions, particularly with how we consume. Yeah, how we consume. Making smart choices will influence what business will make money and what won't. Yeah, because that's what these people really care about at the end of the day. So thank you so much for joining me. I'll just say some more thank yous. Thank you, Harriet Atkinson, for your kind donation. Much appreciated. Thank you again, Ernie's mom. Thank you again, Roxy Cooks. I would love to know what you got there. And Joan Marie, thank you. So I will leave it there. I would love to go through the chat even more. There's so much. Oh, look at this. Whiskey Tennessee, Shivani saying Whiskey Tennessee and also the farmers no longer have a contract with China to export beef and eggs due to two imposed tariffs. Yeah. So, you know, you see, we've got all of this craziness going on. And what's this? Farmers. Yep. Farmers voted against themselves. And then Rita saying 3.5 million people were purged from voting. So you see, yeah. That's also that as well. And in my prediction, I said technically, if you look back at my predictions for the election, I said technically Kamala should win, but I said I think Trump will cheat. Yeah, I could see there's that manipulation there, but it wasn't. It was more of the voter suppression and throwing out ballots. You know, all of it was that stuff. Yeah, massaging around the sides. If everyone had showed up. And if it wasn't, you know, do you know what I mean? If everyone showed up, if 90 million people who didn't vote decided to vote, and, you know, one way or the other, it would have been too big to contain. Yeah, would have been too big to contain. But because it was close, that's when these things here, a few 100,000 votes here and there could have made a big difference. Yeah. So thanks for sharing that. Oh, look at this. Light Love Being saying some Democrats and independents are considering changing their voter registration to Republican to avoid revenge tactics. Oh my God. Do you see this being useful to them? Oh my goodness. I think that's a whole thing for another debate, isn't it? But I will leave it there. Boston in the house, finally. D. I will leave it there. Otherwise, I'm just going to drag on for too long. So you will see me on Hogelish this Saturday. Very special show, 90-minute special. bit more of the astrology, and we're really gonna go for it. It's a profound time, so keep yourselves safe, folks, and remember, boycotts work. Yeah, boycotts work. How you spend will dictate the future of these companies, yeah, because they all need our money at the end of the day. All right, I will leave it there. Big love, and we'll see you soon. All right, bye-bye for now.